There is a profound distinction between those who are alone and those who are lonely, and it is here that the psychology of people without friends begins to reveal itself. Often these individuals dwell deeply within their inner world, a place of reflection, imagination, and self-confrontation. They have learned, consciously or unconsciously, that the outer world, with its chatter, judgments, and expectations, cannot always accommodate the depth of their inner life. Their retreat is not mere avoidance. It is a form of self-preservation, a sanctuary where they can engage with their own thoughts without distortion or dilution. To the casual observer, this might appear as social deficiency, but in truth, it is a careful negotiation between vulnerability and safety, between engagement and withdrawal. In this inner realm, they explore ideas, emotions, and possibilities that remain invisible to those who live primarily in external social currents. Yet paradoxically, this very depth can both isolate and illuminate them, for in solitude they encounter themselves fully, sometimes painfully, sometimes brilliantly, but always authentically, and it is in this confrontation with the self that the seed of eventual connection is planted. Solitude, when understood, is not a prison, it is the crucible of self-realization. Fear is a subtle architect of isolation, quietly shaping the lives of those who have no friends. It is not merely the fear of being alone, but a deeper, more personal fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of being misunderstood, and the fear of exposing one's true self. From early experiences of judgment or abandonment, the mind learns to build protective walls, walls that shield the individual from potential pain, yet simultaneously separate them from genuine connection. This fear is not weakness. It is a sophisticated survival mechanism, honed over years of navigating an unpredictable social world. Yet, while it protects, it also confines. Those who live under its influence often feel the tension between a longing for closeness and an instinct to withdraw. It is in recognizing this dynamic that transformation becomes possible. By gently confronting the fear rather than fleeing from it, one begins to understand that rejection is not a reflection of inherent worth, but a mirror of circumstance, perception, and timing. Each small step toward vulnerability is a reclamation of personal freedom. To face others honestly is to face oneself, and in that courageous act, even the most isolated soul discovers the first glimmer of authentic connection. Fear, when understood, becomes the doorway to liberation. Sensitivity is both a gift and a burden for those who have no friends. Many of these individuals perceive the world with a depth and subtlety that escapes most, noticing nuances in behavior, emotion, and intention that others overlook. This heightened awareness allows them to understand human nature with remarkable clarity, yet it can make ordinary social interaction feel overwhelming, even exhausting. Small slights, unspoken judgments, or superficial conversations carry a weight that others may not perceive, and this magnifies the sense of separation. Emotional depth, in this sense, becomes a double-edged sword. It enriches their inner life while simultaneously creating distance from the external world. Yet within this sensitivity lies profound insight. They can reflect on human behavior with a clarity that social immersion alone rarely provides, seeing patterns, motives, and truths that remain hidden to those who move quickly through life's surface. Understanding this dynamic shifts the perspective. Friendlessness is not merely a lack, but often an indicator of a mind finely attuned to subtleties and meaning. The challenge, then, is not to suppress this sensitivity, but to navigate it wisely, balancing the inner richness with selective, intentional connection. In doing so, one transforms isolation into a source of profound wisdom and authentic presence. we must also consider the subtle yet pervasive influence of social conditioning on the psychology of those without friends. From childhood, society teaches us to value sociability, popularity, and networks, often equating the number of friends with personal worth. For someone who naturally gravitates toward solitude, these societal expectations can feel like an unspoken indictment, creating a sense of inadequacy or abnormality. It is not that they lack the capacity for connection. Rather, the structures and norms around them fail to accommodate their authentic temperament. In a world that prizes extroversion, introversion and quiet reflection are often misunderstood, even stigmatized. This tension can deepen isolation, reinforcing the narrative that friendship, or lack thereof, is a measure of success or failure. Yet, when examined closely, the psychology of being friendless reveals a different story. It is often a conscious or unconscious choice to preserve authenticity rather than compromise it. To understand this is liberating, for it allows one to reject external pressures and embrace a form of self-acceptance that the world rarely encourages. The absence of friends, then, is not inherently a deficit. It can be an opportunity to live life according to one's true nature, unshackled by expectation. Those who live without friends often develop a remarkable capacity for self-sufficiency. In the absence of social reliance, they learn to meet their own emotional needs, solve problems independently, and navigate life without the constant validation of others. This independence is not born from arrogance, but from necessity, a disciplined cultivation of resilience that many who are surrounded by companions never experience. They become their own confidant, their own source of comfort, and in doing so, discover strengths that are often hidden behind the facade of social life. Yet this self-reliance is a double-edged reality. While it fosters inner strength and autonomy, it can also reinforce isolation, creating a subtle inertia against reaching out or trusting others. The psychology here is delicate. Independence can mask a longing for connection, just as solitude can hide the yearning for shared experience. Understanding this tension is crucial, for it illuminates the balance between self-sufficiency and human intimacy. The lesson is profound. Being alone need not mean being lonely, but true growth comes when one learns to integrate self-reliance with openness, allowing for connection that is both chosen and authentic. In embracing this balance, one transforms solitude from a limitation into a source of empowerment. Even in prolonged solitude, there lies the potential for transformation and meaningful connection. The psychology of people without friends is not a fixed state. It is a dynamic interplay between self-awareness, fear, and opportunity. Solitude provides clarity. It allows one to confront personal truths, to examine patterns of thought and behavior, and to cultivate empathy and understanding. When this inner work is paired with deliberate engagement, even the most isolated individuals can forge relationships that are authentic, nourishing, and mutually enriching. The key is intentionality. Connection is not merely about numbers or proximity, but about depth, resonance, and choice. By gradually challenging fear, embracing vulnerability, and honoring both self and other, one discovers that friendships are not obligations to conform, but bridges between equally complex souls. Importantly, this process does not demand surrendering the inner life. Rather, it allows the inner and outer worlds to coexist in harmony. In this light, friendlessness is not a limitation. It is an invitation to cultivate inner richness that can then extend outward. The truth is simple yet profound. The path to connection begins with understanding oneself, and from that understanding flows the courage and wisdom to meet others meaningfully. Solitude fully embraced becomes the gateway to authentic human bonds.